This video is brought to you by Gamersubs. Use code MHB at checkout for 10% off your next order. Oblivion Remaster has finally dropped, but as you'll see, I have much more important matters to attend to right now. Star Wars month continues, and this week on the PS3 Star Wars games is an interesting one. Angry Birds Star Wars. This was a game I picked up a while ago as a bit of a meme. Am I a fan of Angry Birds? Not really. I mean, I played the original back in 2009 on my phone from time to time, and while it was fun, I didn't understand why the hell this series ended up getting so damn big. I never played any of the other games, never watched the shows or movies, none of that. However, with that being said, I do love to pick up delisted games, especially when they're on the cheap. So when I saw there was an Angry Birds Star Wars on PS3 and PS4, I thought it would be a good laugh to add to my Platinum collection. So this year, I finally decided to boot it up and give it a try, and I have to be honest, this was so much better than it had any right being. I mean, this Platinum experience was a blast. It's so easy to pick up and play, but so addictive to try and master, which we'll need to do if we want that sweet Platinum trophy. As always, if you do end up enjoying the content, be sure to like the video, comment below some more Platinums you'd like to see me tackle next, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. Now, our first step was pretty simple. Beat every level for Tatooine, the Death Star, Hoth, the Path of the Jedi, and the exclusive levels, which are just from this version of the game. We didn't need to worry about Cloud City or the Boba Fett missions as they're not needed for any trophies. Well, at least not for right now. I wasn't worried about getting 3 stars or playing flawlessly here. All I was trying to do was beat the levels and move on for now, and just by doing this, the trophies started rolling in. We collected our first sticker and 10 stickers. Impressive. Most impressive. Unlocked a secret. Thank the maker. Shot a stormtrooper with another stormtrooper. There's no one here. Smashed 50 blocks with a lightsaber. Jedi Initiate. Launched a Mighty Falcon and got 100% destruction with it. Mighty Launch. So that's for using the old Falcon. Falcon Escape, I'm assuming that's just for 100%. Got Chewbacca shot 6 times by the same turret. Walking Carpet, I think that's to get shot 6 times or something. Got rid of 3 pigs with 1 blaster shot. There we go, target shooter. 300 stormtroopers popped. Simple pigs and nonsense. Failed a level 10 times with just 1 pig left. Pork Side of the Force. Restarted levels 100 times. Lack of Faith. That's for restarting 100 times, which I'm not surprised it's this level. Popped a stormtrooper with a TIE fighter wing. Imperial Entanglement. 300 block smash with Chewie. Magnificent Grumble. Deflected 3 lasers with 1 saber. Prominent Jedi. Let's go. Smashed 500 blocks with Pilot. Skilled Pilot. 500 blocks smashed with the Saber. Jedi Knight. No! Oh, yes! Completed 10 levels with 1 bird. The birds will be with you. 1000 blocks smashed with the Blaster. Ultimate Laser Shooter. Woo. Played for 5 hours. Hey, Starbird fan. That's for playing for 5 hours, which has come up really quick. And of course, completed Tatooine, Death Star, Hoth, Path of the Jedi, and the exclusive levels. That's no moon. Alright, that's Tatooine done. Disturbing Misobedience. Yeah, okay. That's for the Death Star. Transport is away. That's for Hoth. Courage of Jedi. Hey, let's go. 3 stars at the end. The circle is now complete. That's all the levels done. That's right. Just by completing the story, we unlocked half of the trophies already, and I was barely 5 hours in. which made me a little concerned that there was a trophy for playing for 30 hours, but I'll touch on that later. This step was all about learning though, seeing how the physics work, how each bird is best used, experiencing the levels, and just in general, sitting back and having some fun, and that I definitely did. I'm not a huge fan of the puzzle genre, but turns out when the solution is destruction, that's right up my alley. I especially love the space levels, and playing with gravity, trying to curve the birds around just right to pop those pigs was good fun. However, with that being said, I barely 3-starred any of the levels during this step, which had me a little worried considering, well, I'd need to do that for all of these levels. But that's a problem for a later day, because before we worry about that, seems a little early for a good old trophy cleanup, but these are the trophies that I knew we wouldn't unlock during our next step, so I decided to clean them up now. And first up was the multiplayer trophies. Now before you worry if for whatever reason you're also planning to do this, this is local multiplayer only, and everyone can be assigned to the same controller, which makes this a lot easier considering the first trophy off the board was for playing a multiplayer game with a total of 4 people. There is no try, so that's for playing a multiplayer game with a group of 4. Yeah, it would have been a lot scarier if you needed 4 separate controllers. The multiplayer trophies mainly center around getting the bonus scores though. What's a bonus score? They're 10 secret objectives that you can try to complete for extra points, which if you're actually playing with someone else and not a lonely Larry like myself, could be a bit of fun. Most of these are pretty simple though, for things like using the least amount of birds, not using an ability, or hitting a pig directly. But some are definitely more level specific, in particular the TNT challenges. Because the levels are random, you're basically going to have to enter and leave continuously until you get the type of level you want. But when you do, you'll nab yourself 3 trophies for completing 1 bonus, 5 bonuses, and every bonus score. Well, look at you. So that's for earning our first bonus score. No more training do you require, so that's for 5 bonuses. Let's go, the force is strong. That trophy is literally just about getting the right level. Once you get like an easy one, especially for the TNTs, okay, that's not too bad. That's all the multiplayer stuff done. And that was all we needed for the multiplayer, which was, and always is, a relief. Next up was the collectibles, as I needed to find 5 probe droids and collect all 5 jetpacks. The probe droids definitely were the trickier of the two, but there's more than 5 to find, so you do have a bit of wiggle room here. The probe droids are these golden eggs in certain levels, and I'll be straight up here, some of these were harder to grab than completing the 3 stars. A lot of these are highly dependent on the physics, needing a stormtrooper bolt to deflect just right, or a TNT to explode a meteor just far enough, but not too far, into a crevice. It's a pain in the ass, and by far my least favorite part of this experience so far, because our reward is these bonus levels that are not needed for any other trophy. But with some hard-headedness and determination, we got our 5 probe droids complete, and it was onto the jetpacks. Probe Explorer. Let's go, Probe Gatherer. The jetpacks are a lot simpler to grab and unlock a world that we'll need for a trophy soon. However, it does mean we finally need to play the Cloud City levels, as 2 are in that world, which I was fine with because these levels are great as well, especially all the vents that help change direction and boost your distance. But again, these were really simple to grab, and that just left me with 2 more trophies I wanted to grab before moving on. Jettisoned jetpacks. First was Blockbuster, for smashing 25 blocks with a single Boba Fett flight. This is pretty much a roll of the dice, but it is a lot easier through some of the Boba Fett levels, which we unlocked through the jetpacks. I found B10 to be the best level to do this on, but again, it really is just chance on how Boba Fett will fly off. Sometimes he'll just pop straight away, and sometimes he'll zoom off somewhere else. It's a bit random, but eventually we got it to work. I can't tell, man. That felt like it was a good shot, and then it just fizzled. Let's go! Blockbuster! Holy crap, that's a pain in the ass. And lastly was Minoc Tangle, for using a Minoc to pop another Minoc in 6 separate levels. This one can be a little annoying, but I'd apparently already done this in 4 different levels before going for the trophy, so I popped this one pretty quick. My Noctangle, alright. I did not realize I was that close. Cool. But now it was time for the true test. I'll be honest, I was trying to delay this one for as long as I could because I was having a lot of fun with the game so far and I feared this would be the, oh wait, I hate this moment. But it was inevitable. We needed to head back to all the main worlds we played through in the story mode and get 3 stars in every single level. How many levels is that? That's 180 levels, 540 stars needed. Now bear in mind, most of these levels are maybe 15 seconds long on a successful attempt, so it sounds crazier than it is. But when you keep hitting reset after reset, it does add up, and I figured I'd be here for hours and hours and hours. Turns out though, this wasn't actually that bad. Now don't get me wrong, some of these levels are tricky because most of the time they want you to get rid of all the pigs with 1 bird, 2 at most, because each bird you have left when the level is over is worth 10,000 points apiece, which is really the key here. Force points. Doesn't matter if you pop all the pigs in one go, if you didn't destroy enough along the way, sometimes that will mean no 3 stars for you. Again, I'm not going to play it up like no level made me question my sanity, but to get 3 stars in every level only really ended up taking me about an hour and a half a planet, and most of this experience, again, was something I really enjoyed. Not when the physics causes you to replay a level over and over again because a block won't fall just right, because trust me, that'll be a problem soon, but when you get that fluent 1 bird, all pigs pop, total destruction, it is really satisfying, especially on some of the harder levels. I was sort of expecting this to be a bit of a rage montage moment in the video, so I'll play any of those moments here if I can find them. But while going for all the 3 stars, we did get more trophies along the way for things like force pushing 2,000 blocks, hey, Force Learner, lifting 500 blocks with Leia, Fatal Attraction, smashing 2,000 blocks with the Saber, Jedi Master. Just as I was starting the exclusive levels, finally played for 15 hours. True Star Bird Fan. Finally, I'm on the last bloody world I need for the 3 stars. I only just hit the 15 hour mark. Jesus. And of course, got 3 stars in every level on Tatooine, Death Star, Hoth, Path of the Jedi, and the exclusive levels. There we go. Tatooine All Stars. Hell frickin' yes. Death Star All Stars. Let's go. Hoth All Stars. Let's go. Path of the Jedi All Stars. That just leaves the exclusive levels to go now. All too easy. And I've only just recently gone over the 15 hour mark. So this is gonna be interesting. I thought the hard part was over. Turns out I was wrong. Okay, so going in, I just assumed the 3 stars on every level trophies was the reason behind such a low platinum percentage, which, just to be clear, this is now the rarest platinum in my collection. I thought that was the hard part, but turns out the points trophies are so much worse. Once again, the usual worlds, except for the exclusive levels for some reason, also have a points total trophy each, and even if you get 3 stars on each level, that's not necessarily enough to get the required points for the whole area. Now, why this is so annoying is because it really is all based on the physics. Obviously, it doesn't matter that we got all the pigs to pop because we've done all that for the 3 stars. What matters is those pigs popped and enough of the environment gets destroyed, which is purely based on luck. This isn't too bad for planets like Tatooine and the Death Star, and cleaning these planets up, we were only a few thousand points shy, making the cleanup pretty easy, especially if you go for the early game levels, and finally getting the trophy for flinging my 5,000th bird in the process. Hey, Flybird Fly. Okay, I was a little worried that hadn't already popped, but I'll take it. There we go, Tatooine the Force. Let's go, Death Star the Force. Okay, that wasn't too long. It might have been like half an hour. Hoth, and in particular Path of the Jedi, on the other hand, were tens of thousands off the mark, and this meant it was both difficult to get all the pigs to pop, but just luck if you'd get a few hundred or tens of thousands of more points, and this was infuriating. I mean, you can fling the same bird in the same spot hundreds of times, and I'm willing to bet the points you get will be different every time. Sometimes I'd easily get a new high score, sometimes I'd get a few thousand less. It just is too RNG for my liking and meant this whole process, especially for Jedi, was a nightmare. I was scraping the bottom of the barrel in the end as I went through every level in Jedi twice, getting the best possible score I could get and only improving each level in the end by 1,000 or 2 here and there. This was brutal and made going for 3 stars look like a damn cakewalk. Let's go! Hoth the Force. Holy crap. Okay, that one was really challenging. Yes! Oh, thank God. Path of the Jedi, the Force. That one sucked. That one sucked a big time. But with all the worlds done, all that left me with was 2 trophies and the platinum would be mine. Unfortunately, one was more of a pain than the guide let on. It's simply for playing for 30 hours, and every guide I read said this was unmissable. You'll get this, no worries, in the process of doing everything else. And yet here we are. So what's their solution? If for whatever reason you haven't earned this trophy and it's the last one you need, play more. Okay, I added that last part, but that's basically the gist. Go 3-star, more levels, play multiplayer, blah, blah, blah. Epic insight, thanks a lot. So what do? There's no way to track how much time I've spent in the game. All I know is it's more than 15 hours. Well, by this point, I was ready to put the game down, quickly grinding out the 50 Falcon destructions I needed, which you can just replay the same level over and over for. Let's go, hyperspace. I was a little worried about that one. So all I had left was the hours, and all you need is a wired controller, load into a level, and basically walk away. I've been doing this, by the way, while going for the points trophies for an hour or 2 at a time, and I still hadn't gotten it. But that's really all I could do, just make sure the controller stayed connected so the game didn't end up pausing and come back every now and again to complete the level to count the time. It took a little bit. I actually left it on overnight and came back the next morning, completed the level, and bang, that was Angry Birds Star Wars Platinum Trophy in the bag. Let's go, Starbird Addict. Congratulations. Angry Birds Star Wars is done. And overall, that was a lot of fun. There was a few bits and pieces here and there that I didn't really enjoy, but overall, yeah, that was good. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far into the video, make sure to leave a comment with peak Star Wars to let me know that you made it to the end. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below and let me know some platinum experiences you want to see me tackle next. Shout out to the channel members for that extra level of support, and special thanks to members of the Bear Club, G&T Papi, Nugget, Dark Wolf, Scott Unwin, Steel Vanguard, NPO Crusader, Lug Knights, It's Grey J, Kuzma, Pathcast, Safado, and Golden Sparrow. Thank you all, and I'll catch you in the next one.